Hello, my name is Fiona Gill and you are listening to a podcast for the ILM Level 5 School Business Management Diploma. The podcast covers the Unit 2 Module 2 topics on leading teams, and I will be talking about my own experiences around these topics. I will discuss my SBM reflections on how I understand the concepts, tools or theories raised within the module. This includes how I have applied them within my professional practice, developed my own skill set through doing so, and had an impact on my school. Firstly, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I've worked within education since 2002, starting first in the Children and Young People Directorate and then moving into my current role as School Business Manager in 2008. Previously to this, I worked within the Ministry of Defence and for a private sector company managing the finance department and salaries. I have completed a degree in School Business Management with the Manchester Metropolitan University and completed the Level 4 CITFA certificate in School Financial Skills. I also studied the Level 4 and 5 Diploma in School Business Management through the National College of School Leadership. I started my work with National Schools Training in April 2015. And I am also a fellow member of the National Association of School Business Managers. The definition presented by Hein 2007 of leading teams is the innate potential to feel, use, communicate, recognise, remember, describe, identify, learn from, manage, understand and explain emotions. Some of the words, such as explain and describe, could place an expectation that we should give reason to why we experience a certain emotion. In reality, as argued by Corey, 2009, there is just sometimes a need to accept that emotion and then manage it. Hargy et al. 2004 claims that over the last 20 years there has been a transformation in leadership skills and distribution which has produced new work ethics, instilling ownership and commitment values. Within my school this is evident through gradual recognition of the school business management role and an acknowledgement of the strategic value. Understanding the value of emotional intelligence for me as a team leader has helped me with the line management and personnel issues. One such scenario was the management of a team member's attendance. The person in question had been absent from school on various occasions and was being monitored for attendance. Support systems had been put into place so that the person was capable of undertaking the job and to ensure that there were no underlying reasons for causing the absences. However, the person left work in distress one day and upon inquiry I was informed that the person was upset because of feeling threatened by the attendance monitoring meetings. The use of this word totally floored me. Threatened. It seemed very physical and almost violent. On reflection, added to this choice of word was the body language used by my colleague, and I felt defensive and anxious, that is, emotional, that this was becoming a personal attack on me, my management skills and professionalism. I could feel my heart pounding and my stress levels increasing, as I often do in confrontational situations. Harris, 1973, suggests to recognise words such as can't and should being used in these types of conversations by a controlling parent ego state. I realised that I had initially responded in an adult state to the question of the colleague leaving work. However, my other colleagues' repeating of statements regarding sending X home resulted in me moving to a child state. I started to use words such as sorry, not assertive but being passive. A cross-transaction results and there is no beneficial conclusion to any of the parties involved and consequently conflict results. On reflection of this scenario, I realised that my colleague appears to play a game, and Byrne, 1964, advises to be aware that people play games because it is something that they want and it meets one of their needs. I started to realise that as a manager I should not be judgmental about games and people's needs, but use this knowledge to engage in productive interactions. I had to refocus on management issues, in this case staff shortage, so that I could avoid emotional flooding. I could then have used the concept of fogging to make it clear that I would not be made to feel guilty for a possible shortcoming, argue about it, or respond emotionally to it. Byrne, 1964, advises an awareness of aligning and complementing transactions so that emotions remain stable. I have to diffuse the use of gimmicks in games, e.g. insults, personal comments, and ask myself, I realise that emotional intelligence has to be a constantly developing strategy to sustain my personal and professional effectiveness in leading a diverse range of employees. One theory will not fit all, but it is possible to use emotional intelligence strategies to reach the best approach, achieve better outcomes for individuals and the school. Emotional intelligence has empowered me personally to change how I feel by changing how I think. I also use the theory that each important conversation can mean success or failure, and Scott, 2002, recommends that a plan is made so that issues are detailed and the significance of the conversation is recognised. I clarify key intent so that a conversation has a direction and stays on track. In essence, I make a plan for the conversation. In the workplace, I have found that emotional intelligence is most effective when I use it in making decisions, rather than the actual management of introducing change. School business managers have increased input into making hard decisions and need to address them constructively through emotional intelligence and resilience. It is accepting that humans operate from an ego state and life position and choosing a complementary response. That is, it is accepting that everybody has different life experiences and life backgrounds, but that we are here for one aim, and that is the success of the team. Sometimes I do still get a response wrong and conflict may result, but this can then be managed constructively and I can admit to my wrong response. I am aware and try to avoid scenarios impacting on my own ego state. That is, starting to revert again to the child state through not being assertive or making personal comments. My past learning and reflections have resulted in a paradigm shift for me so that I can, most times, think outside of current situations or issues. I use this with caution as it does not make me better than others, just more understanding and able to see behind emotions. I also understand that it is important for me to blend through interpersonal communication with other people, reducing barriers and establishing rapport. I have to come out from my office and connect with stakeholders and school staff. I have done this through taking on a playground duty during the lunch break, making sure that at least once a week I meet with my supervising staff, and also that once a week I make the effort to go into the catering hall and talk to the kitchen staff and the welfare team. Additionally to this, I daily make a visit to the office to check that everything is okay, that there's no issues, no stresses, or anything urgent that I need to address. This in turn also provides me with school knowledge to push forward strategic futures thinking in order to lead to school improvements as the team leader of the site and business support team. We've come to the end of this podcast. If you have any questions about this podcast, please send me an email. For all other questions, please ask your National Schools Training tutor. Further discussions and debates can be posted onto the online forum to encourage collaboration, shared thoughts and questions amongst learners. This can also be good evidence that can be used as part of your assessment, as part of your reflections and analysis of situations, and also shows that you have networked with your fellow learners to engage in the learning on your course. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope that you find this podcast helpful.